Hello and welcome back to another one of Paul's beer reviews. Hope you're doing well today. I've got a beer to review for you, which is one of the new beers that's gone into Sainsbury's this week, first week of May 2022, just in case I forgot the year there. And this is one from Hong Kong based brewery Gweilo, and they've collaborated with Brew York on this one for a peanut butter and raspberry jam pale ale. This is new in Sainsbury's. It costs £3.50. And it's coming in at 4.9% ABV. So they've gone for the raspberry / peanut butter colour scheme on the can. Certainly catching on the eye. But yeah, you'll see the Brew York logo there. Collaborated with Brew York. It was actually brewed at Brew York, which makes sense. What else does it say? So yeah, brewed by Brew York. Obviously in Yorkshire. What else does it say? Loads of flavour text. So this classic American combo translated into a beer. Raspberry puree, peanut and vanilla combine in a medley of delicious flavour. Mosaic hops add a touch of fruity bitterness to complete this dessert style pale ale. It's got water, barley, oats, raspberry puree, peanuts, vanilla, hops and yeast. So mosaic hops, you're looking at a bit of passion fruit, a bit of mango, maybe some sort of darker berries in the flavour. At least that's what you'll get from the hops, but I don't imagine with it being a peanut butter and raspberry beer, you're going to get much character from the mosaic hops, but we'll find out. So let's get this 4.9% ABV pale ale out of its can, into a glass, and see if it's any good. Certainly raspberry and peanuts on the aroma as soon as I crack the can. Yeah, like I say, this one has just come out into Sainsbury's. Sainsbury's have launched a load of new beers the last few days. I popped in there yesterday. I didn't actually know that they'd released new beers, but I don't know about you guys. I can't go into a supermarket without having a wander down the beer aisle. And there was loads of new beers in there. Beers from Siren. Who else was in there? Another one from Brew York. There's a few interesting looking beers, and I picked up a few. There's a new Buxton one. I'm going to review that pretty soon. But there's the beer. That looks rather nice in the glass. I mean, the pour is exceptional, I've got to say. But she is a hazy, darker shade of amber, and she's hanging on to a 1 to 2 finger, slightly frothy looking white head. Decent enough levels of carbonation. You might see a few bubbles rising up through that. It is quite hazy, so I won't blame you if you can't. But yeah, generally hazy, not completely unsee-through, but there you go. So let's get a proper snout and see what the aroma's telling us. Plenty of vanilla, plenty of raspberry, real sweetness of raspberry puree. Got that vanilla, slightly milky aroma, and beneath that is a touch of peanut, and that sort of combination of vanilla and peanut gives off a peanut butter vibe with the aroma. It smells quite pleasant. Let's get stuck in. Cheers. I'm going again. I'm going to go in again. It's a tricky one. Okay. It's sweet, not overly so. It's raspberry strong, certainly. The raspberry puree is the most distinctive characteristic to this beer. Certainly getting the vanilla. And it very much follows up from the aroma. It's raspberry, vanilla, and then a touch of peanut. And that combination of the vanilla and the peanut is giving that peanut butter illusion. It's nicely balanced. I like the body to it. It's not overly thick. It's actually quite light, actually quite drinkable. Excuse me. It's very drinkable. It's very drinkable. That touch of sweetness at the beginning makes it very inviting, but it really backs up the aroma. Once you crack the can and pour this and smell it, the flavour backs it up totally. There's no real surprises with this. There's a touch of bitterness at the back end, which lingers somewhat. But I'm getting nothing in the way of the mango and passion fruit, which are sort of regular characteristics of the Mosaic hop. However, what you do often get with Mosaic hops is you can often get like a darker berry, like a sort of almost like a blueberry flavour. I do feel like that comes out and greets you as well with this. Particularly, I say comes out and greets you. It's there at the back end. The bitterness at the end, which is very subtle, I might add, very light. There's no real bitter finish to it, no real lingering bitterness to it. But what there is almost like a dark berry sweetness. It goes from raspberry at the beginning into this kind of soft vanilla-y touch of peanut flavour, and then goes into a touch of bitterness at the back end, and with it is a sweetness of like a darker berry element, which I would put down to the addition of Mosaic hops in this beer. I can't remember whether it said there was oats in it. Certainly wheat. Yeah, wheat. And it does say there is oats in it. If I was to guess, I wouldn't guess that there being oats in the malt bill to this one, because it's not overly thick. It doesn't really cover the palate like a lot of beers do that have oats in the malt bill. Certainly wheat. It has a light, certainly considerable malt bill on the palate, but it's not overly so, not overly thick. I'm kind of down the middle with this one. It's very drinkable. I will say that off the bat. I've just got in from work, and this was ideal, to be honest with you. Raspberry peanut butter and jelly, peanut butter jam. I love that combination. And I've had a couple of beers now that have tried it. Notable ones were the Northern Monk Stars and Stripes Porter they released a couple of years back. I love that beer. I do think it is slightly lacking on the peanut side of things. The raspberry is very prominent, but I guess peanuts probably would come through more in a darker beer, porter or stout. The roasted malts kind of lend themselves to the peanut element. So with a pale, I'm thinking maybe the malt bill perhaps doesn't lend itself very well to the addition of peanuts, because it's very subtle. It's there, but it's very subtle. I would have liked maybe just a touch more in the way of peanuts on this. However, it is nice. Raspberry, vanilla, touch of peanut, light body, gentle carbonation. At the back end, tiniest bit of bitterness from the hops, and with it, it's just a touch of sort of a berry sweetness from the Mosaic. But all in all, that's not bad at all. That's not bad at all. Would I drink it again? Yeah. Would I pay £3.50 again? Possibly, if I was really in the mood for it, because it's very drinkable, and I do like the flavour that they put into this. It's a nicely made beer. It's a good collaboration, this from Gweilo and Brew York. I do hope I'm saying Gweilo properly. Gweilo? I think it's Gweilo. Gweilo and Brew York have brewed a decent beer. I should say Brew York more. I know Gweilo's all over the can, but it was actually brewed at Brew York. And like I say, they've got the logo of them on the back of the can there. But all in all, this isn't bad at all. I like it enough to give it a 7 out of 10. It's certainly above average. It's not a forgettable beer. For a supermarket shelf, that's not bad at all. Sainsbury's, £3.50. Gweilo with their peanut butter and raspberry jam pale ale. Good collab, decent supermarket beer. 7 out of 10 for me. I hope you've enjoyed this review. Give it a thumbs up if you have. Till my next one, you take care.